and welcome back to BookTube with Amy. Today we are going to be doing the why haven't I read this tag. So I saw Maddie from Reading Off Grid do this, and we know I like a tag that keeps me accountable and keeps books on my radar, so I was like, right, I'm stealing this even though I wasn't tagged in it. So the first one is a classic book that you haven't read. And this is quite a new purchase for me, but I'm still going to talk about it, and that is Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. So I am a total Hardy virgin. I have never read anything by Thomas Hardy before, but Scott over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot absolutely raves about him. And like, there's a wee bit of a crossover between me and Scott's reading tastes, and it's like the most random things ever. So it's hard to predict whether we will like or dislike a book based on each other's judgment sometimes, but I think that I am going to enjoy this because it is meant to be the most miserable book that Thomas Hardy has written, and I quite like a miserable book. I am planning to read this with Simon for our Book 101 comeback, which is we both read a classic. I tend to like them, he tends to hate them, and then we discuss the merit of the book and decide whether or not it should go in Room 101 and essentially no exist anymore. So we will be bringing that back, and this is the one that we want to start with. We have a couple of other ideas of ones that we want to read as well, but I am excited to get to this, and it's probably something I should have read years and years ago because it does sound like a me book, but I haven't. And then it is a fiction book that you haven't read, and I'm going to go with Melmoth by Sarah Perry. This sounds like it could be interesting or like I would hate it, and so that is what has stopped me for picking this book up every single time. So it's about a group of friends and they find this manuscript, and I mean, they try to read this manuscript, they start getting followed by like a weird figure, and I'm hoping something magical, mystical and horrific is going to happen. The thing with this is, right, is it's a bit historical fiction-y. And I'm very hit and miss with historical fiction on what I enjoy. If it's too descriptive and like really describing absolutely everything to make me feel like I'm in that time period, I am not going to enjoy it. However, like if it's a wee bit creepy and Victorian and steampunky, then I am probably going to enjoy it. And so it is just really hit or miss, and when I pick them up and they're mere miss, I just get into such a reading slump, and it's why I haven't picked this one up yet. I mean, it's not even the longest. I could probably just sit and read this in a day off or something, but I just keep putting it off and putting it off. So if anybody has read this, let me know if you think it's a me book or no, because I'm still like hesitant. If I didn't pick this up by the rest of the year, could be one that's on my self-destruct TBR for next year for sure. So I don't read a huge amount of non-fiction, to be honest. It's not something that I really pick up. I am not a huge fan of memoirs, unless they are like about a specific person or a specific subject that I'm interested in, but like very, very rare. And in terms of like thought pieces, I think I prefer like social commentary and like education, I guess, on a particular subject to be done through fiction. So I never really just like pick up non-fiction, but I do have one on my shelves called The Shock Doctrine. I got this during a charity shop book haul recently, and I thought that that sounded quite interesting. I didn't actually realise it was non-fiction. I thought that it was dystopian. And then when we got home and Simon was like bleeping it into the catalogue, he was like, oh, you've picked up a non-fiction, and I was like, hover. So like that was alarming in and of itself, and probably says all you need to know about our current world, but I hope it'll be interesting. And the next one is genre book, and I'm assuming like it's like favourite genre, so I've picked YA fantasy, and I've picked two books for this, Ballad and Lament. So I love Maggie Stiefvater, and everything that I've read from her so far has been a 4 or a 5 star read for me. Her writing is just my jam, and I just want to binge read everything that she writes, and so I don't start a series by her like until the series is finished and I own them all, because I learned that the hard way. I had Oi the Raven Cycle and I binge read them like back to back to back without a break in between, and then I read Shiver, and I had Shiver and I had, what's the second one called, Linger on my shelf, but I didn't have Sinner or Forever, and I regretted that when I started because I wanted the next two immediately, and so I ordered them and had them delivered because I just needed them. So I've been hesitant about picking these up because originally I think this was supposed to be a trilogy and then the third one never got published, and so I'm a wee bit uncertain about picking these two up if like it's not going to be wrapped up properly or if that third book is never going to come out. I don't know the reason for it. If anybody knows the drama with these books, then like go on and let me know down below. And if anybody has read these, like, will I just get really frustrated if I read them and it hasn't finished properly, or is it enjoyable enough to read them like as a duology and like there's maybe some unanswered questions but like it wraps up pretty well for the characters. So that's why I've been putting these off. Please somebody fill me in. And then the book that's been on my TBR the longest, so I just went to Goodreads and I filtered by date, and the first book that I ever put on Goodreads was The End of Everything by Megan Abbott. This is actually on my Shelf Destruct TBR this year, so probably fair that that's on there. I haven't read this yet, so I can't tell you anything about it other than it's two teenage girls, one friend goes missing and the other one tries to find her, whilst also realising that she might be queer and might also have feelings out with friendship for her best friend, and I think it's just about how she deals with that. So it sounds like it could be up my street. I guess we'll just need to see. I don't know why I keep putting that one off. It's just not something that I ever really gravitate towards, and it's such a tiny book as well, like it would be easy to just sit and read it, but I don't know, I think when things have been on my TBR for ages, like I do tend to put them off a wee bit more than I normally would. I don't know if it's just because I know that I've had them for such a long time, like, or if it's just that my brain gets too overstimulated by all my new shiny books that I just gravitate towards the newer stuff and not really the older stuff on my shelves. I didn't really know, but it's there. Thank you very much for watching. I am going to tag a couple of people in this. I'd like to see their answers, so I'm going to tag Ange from Angie's Book Chatter. I think it would be interesting to see what is on her shelf and why she's been putting it off. I am going to tag Jack from Sped Book Joy, and I am going to tag Chloe from Phantom of the Pages. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying everything that you're reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!
Thank you.